Hello friends, I'm Brian, and this is Gizmo Board Games. And we've reached yet another month, so it's time to do my first impressions of the new games I tried for the first time in April of 2025. I only played 3 new games last month. Didn't get to the table a whole lot, so this should be a relatively short video. But we'll go ahead and do this in alphabetical order again, starting with Bot Factory. And Bot Factory is a re-implementation and a kind of lighter version of Kanban EV, which was a retake on Kanban. So I guess Bot Factory is kind of the third implementation of the game. This one kind of dressed down a little bit to make it more accessible for more players. But in Bot Factory, you're going around a factory building bots. And it's worker placement. You're going to place your worker on one of the available spots on one of the 4 boards. And each of those boards are going to do different things for you, whether to make the robots more powerful and potentially earn contracts, in-game points basically for the bots you created. And then, of course, you're going to go around and get parts for the bots. You're going to get blueprints, so that way you know what kind of bots you can build, because you can't build a bot without a blueprint. And, of course, the main action is going to be putting those parts into the factory to make the bots. And the game ends when somebody makes 5 bots, or until a bot of a certain color runs out of inventory, basically. There are 3 or 4 bots, depending on player counts, that can be made in a given game in 4 different colors. So as soon as one of those colors runs out, the game ends, or as soon as one player makes 5 bots, the game ends. And then you'll score bots based on what each bot's value is, because, again, I said you can increase the bot value as an action, and some in-game scoring objectives you made, but you don't want to have leftover parts. You're wasteful, so you're going to lose points for that, and lose points for blueprints that you didn't complete, and contracts you didn't complete. Maybe not the blueprints. So you need to be focused with what you're doing. You can't just go around and try to do everything and hope for the best. You're going to lose points that way, and then at the end of the game, the player with the high score wins. I played this one solo twice. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. Kanban EV might be my favorite of the designer's games anyway. In this lighter version, it's just more welcoming and played a whole lot quicker than the predecessor. So that was Bot Factory. The second new-to-me game I played in April is Coloma. This is a classic game, or classic-ish. I think it came out in the late 20-teens, like 2019, 2018. And just recently was supposed to deliver a new version, and we'll see how that kind of plays out with the current state of things. But I've had this one for a little while and finally got it to the table. And what Coloma is there's an action wheel of 5 different actions you can take as you're building up your little western town. So those actions are going to be getting you resources to go out and do things. They're going to be able to send defenders against the town, because the town could be under attack by bandits. And you're going to build up your town itself with various buildings and bridges, waterways, etc. that are all going to score you points or increase your actions. And the neat thing about this game is it's kind of a silent action auction, in that you've got a tile for each of the 5 actions, and you're going to basically put face down which action you're going to take. Everybody will do that, and then you'll place your worker onto the wheel for that action. The wheel has 2 different parts for the action, and if you aren't one of the majority action takers, you'll get to do both parts. But whichever action has the most people trying to perform that action will actually lose access to the second half of the action. So they'll have less than they might have thought they had. So it's a bit of reading your opponents to see what they're trying to do as you're going around and collecting those things to build up your town, to, in the end, try to score a bunch of points based on how well you did it over the course of 3 or 4 rounds. I don't remember offhand. Might even be more than that, now that I think about it. I only played this one once solo. The solo mode's okay. It's a bit of like you're laying out the 2 action tiles for your opponent, so you know an idea of what action they're going to take, and then you're going to take your action and then flip a coin for the opponent to see which of the 2 actions they took to initiate that potential, multiple player action point, and then you only get half the action. But if you know the 2 that they're playing going into it, you can hopefully avoid that action, or if you really need to do the action, oh well, I guess just deal with the potential that they might also do it and lock you out of the other half. Fun little game. I think I'd play a lot better with other people around the table than the solo mode, but it was all right. It's a decent game, and I'm going to get it to the table again. It didn't take very long to play, and it was super easy to kind of to suss out, especially the Atomo mode. But I could see this one being played pretty well in a group. It's not super complex either. And then the final game that was new to me in April of 2025 is Guild of Merchant Explorers. And this is a unique take on kind of that flip and right, roll and right type of game. It is a flip and right, I guess, style of game. In that there's a deck of cards that are the 5 actions you can take in the game, or 6 or 7 or 8 as the game goes on. You're going to add a new card into the deck at the beginning of each of the rounds. And that'll give you a specialty action for yourself. But what you're doing is on the board in front of you, instead of scribbling on it in a pencil or whatever, you're actually just going to place cubes down to annotate the action you took based on the card flip. So maybe the card will flip, say, take 2 desert places. So then you can pick any 2 desert places, and there are, I think, 4 or 5 different terrain types on the board. And you'll take those places adjacent to wherever else you are on the board. Everybody's going to have a starting spot. Everybody's going to start from the same spot. But as you go out and take different ventures of your merchants going out and exploring, everybody's going to have different capabilities as the game goes on, depending on how they go out. Even though you're playing on the same board, everybody's going to be doing it differently. So you're going to flip a card and basically place cubes down for what the card is. And if it's an era card, you're going to actually draw 2 from the special deck and pick 1, and then that'll be your action only whenever that era card comes up. So era 1 card is going to be locked in for era 1, era 2 card will be locked in for era 2, 3, and then the 4th era will be kind of you pick one of them to do again. So that's kind of neat. And basically you're just building outward to try to collect certain resources, connect trade routes, make discoveries, and build towers. Everything's going to get you points. But at the end of each round, you're going to clear off all your normal cubes, and the only thing that's going to stay out is permanent structures you've made by filling up zones or whatever. You can leave a permanent structure behind. And then you can venture out from that new structure or from your starting point or from any cubes you play anywhere along the way. So as the game goes on, everybody's going to have their different options and different ways to score. And at the end of 4 rounds, you're just going to see who scored the most based on how well they explored. So I really like it. I'm all right with rolling rights, flipping rights, whatever. They're fun. They serve a purpose. Usually they're quick play, and again, usually just a die or deck cards and a sheet of paper that you're getting rid of as the game goes on. But in Guild of Merchant Explorers, you're actually using 4 map boards, double-sided. So you got a choice of 4 maps for up to 4 different players. You're all playing the same map for the game you're playing. And they've each got their own objectives to goals to meet that you're racing towards to score points as well. So I think it's a lot of fun. Again, I only played this one solo, but it's another one that I could introduce to people pretty easily and get played with no problem. I really enjoyed this one for what it is. It was a lot of fun flipping right with more of an actual game board going on. And that was it. Those were the 3 new to me games I played last month. So that was my quick rundown. First impressions I played. The only one I played more than once was Bot Factory. I played that one twice. So again, first impressions, that's how I felt. That's kind of my brief overview from one playthrough of how they play. Hopefully this was informative to you if you were interested in any of those games and want to check them out yourself. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of help. I did enjoy all 3 games and look forward to playing them all again, as usual. I don't typically buy games I don't think I'm interested in. Let me know in the comments below what games you've been playing recently and what you think of these games if you've played them. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe below if you haven't already. That way you can come back and catch more of my videos each week. I try to put out 1 new video, whether it's reviews, commentary, general whatever about board gaming, top 10 lists, etc., etc. I look forward to seeing you next time.